Recorded Books and One Click Digital present Burning Down George Orwell's House by Andrew Ervin. Narrated by Donald Corrin. Chapter 1. Even standing still, finally, Ray Welter's body remained in motion and subject to inner tidal forces beyond his control. The rain felt more like the idea of wetness than anything resembling drops, and it made its way inside his coat and new boots. Everything ached. He struggled to recall with any certainty what the word dry referred to. The rain fell upward. He wanted to cry. The journey had been a 36-hour nightmare, spent suffocating in an airplane seat, riding in a bus on the wrong side of the road, sailing and hitchhiking, and he still had to wait for what looked like a 5-minute ride over to the Isle of Jura. A talkative, red-faced woman had dropped him off at the ferry terminal. "You might as well give me that fancy wristwatch of yours," she had said. "You certainly won't be needing it out here." At least, that was what he thought she said. The accent would take some getting used to. "And you just wait till you get a hold of these paps." Ray could discern 2 of Jura's 3 mountains through the fog and rain, and from the eastern side of Isla, the paps of Jura looked exactly like a woman's breasts. There was no mistaking it. The entire island resembled a naked girl lying on her back. He stood at the very precipice of the wired world. The air tasted fresher than anything he had ever sucked into his Chicago-polluted lungs. His pores worked to rid themselves of the poisons of his previous life, and he shivered from the sweaty underclothes, yet some source of heat rose to his face. Across the Sound, a ferryman attended to his duties on the deck of a blue-green boat big enough to tote maybe a dozen cars. Jura was so close. Overheated and shivering at the same time, Ray now understood why that island was among the least populated of Scotland's Inner Hebrides. No direct public connection existed from the mainland. He carried with him only an elaborate backpack and a suitcase that contained the sum of his worldly possessions. He wandered along the waterfront and awaited the next-to-last leg of the journey. One of Isla's 6 whiskey distilleries loomed over the ferry port, but he couldn't discern the presence inside of bodies or spirits. It looked deserted, without as much as a gift shop where he could buy a carry-out bottle. A sip of scotch would have tasted so fucking perfect. Over on the inert boat, the ferryman moved slowly and without demonstrable purpose or motivation, oblivious to the weather. A row of squat houses boasted the greenest lawns on the god's green earth. Swing sets and seesaws of molded plastic punctuated the grass with happy colors. All of Scotland was green, even greener than the springtime prairie back home. Back at his former home. Out here, Ray discovered a new shade of green. Not quite celadon, or vert, or even snot green. It was the color to which he would forever compare every other green. He already thought of it as Jura green. The acrid smell of burning peat from the chimneys taunted him with the promise of warmth. The hardened mud substitute they used for heat on the islands gave off a strange scent, almost like wood smoke, but more earthy and bitter. He sat against the empty whiskey casks stacked on the stone embankment. The seat of his jeans was already soaked through. He unpeeled the last of his bananas and found it impossible to believe that he had purchased the bunch just that morning. The fluorescence of the supermarket in Oban and the colors of the brightly packaged goods in endless rows glowed in his memory as if from a distant universe. Ray dropped the peel into the outer pocket of his pack and took a long drink of mineral water that tasted like sidewalk chalk. A blue van approached, its windows clouded inside, and pulled.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.